What's going on with all my billionaires out there? This the guy, Hoods Billionaire. Welcome to Hoods Billionaire TV. Big favor, big abundance. On today's episode, we got Book Club Sundays, and on today's Book Club Sunday, we're gonna be covering Do Epic Ish by Ankur Warikoo. Let's talk about it. So, this is a really good book. It's just about like following your dreams, and embracing your unique gifts and following your dreams, doing, necessarily not necessarily doing things for money, but doing what you love and what makes you happy, and following your dreams and following your heart. And essentially, author talks about, like, different jobs that he had, different startups that he did, different companies that he worked for, and kind of how they all fell apart, how different stuff was falling apart, and how he was learning a lesson through all those different jobs and different startups, different things that he had. And he realized he was really just doing them for money. He was doing it for money. It wasn't like for the love of it. And he ended up becoming like a multi-millionaire content creator, and entrepreneur. So he was saying it wasn't until like he started doing things that he loved that he realized, it's really more so about doing what you love. And he also, he is some actually really good fundamental, like, budgeting, business, and investment principles in here also as well. Like, he talks about kind of some of the things that he felt like, he kind of always thought was the right thing to do. And some of it's subjective, it just depends on you, and some of them, but it's good principles. He was talking about like how he had bought a lot of jewelry, and he was like, he was convincing himself like jewelry is an investment. He bought a lot of gold jewelry, and he realized, it's not jewelry that's the investment. Gold is an investment. You know what I'm saying? So things like that. He was talking about not being liquid enough. He was like, it's cool to have assets, but you need to have a lot of assets and things you can liquidate. Now, once again, that's subjective, because I know people with, 100, I remember I was dealing with an investor one time. And we were liquidating some of her, doing some deals on a bunch of properties she had. And this was in Detroit too. Shout out all my people in the D. And she had a portfolio with like maybe like 40 single family and multifamily homes in it, and she was collecting rent on all of them. So it ain't even about necessarily, and she liquidated. We ended up getting a lot of those liquidated for her, you know what I mean, and doing some deals on a lot of those. And then essentially, but I understand what he's saying though. He was like, when times got tight, I had a lot of assets on paper, but I couldn't really pull no cash out of. I couldn't really get no cash. He was like, so don't just put all of your money in assets that you can't liquidate. So I definitely believe that. But he also kind of backed that up with saying, like, also diversify your investments, right? I definitely believe in that too. You definitely should invest in things that you can liquidate and make liquid when you need it, because liquidity is important. But definitely, it's okay to invest in real estate and other things. You know what I mean? If you got to do a refi or whatever, pull some cash out. But that's not here nor there. Like I said, he dropped a lot of good investment principles in there also as well. But essentially, he was just talking about, he was putting those investment principles and business principles on top of follow your heart. Those are good principles to live by. But still chase your dreams. You know what I'm saying? Chase your dreams. Do what makes you happy. Do epic-ish. You know what I'm saying? You got to do epic-ish, man. You know what I mean? If you want to live a fulfilling life, you got to do epic-ish, man. You know what I'm saying? But that's pretty much what it come down to. Like, he's just talking about his life and how he wasn't fulfilled when he was doing all them different things. And he's well educated, college degree and all of that, but he was essentially started some startups and worked it with some really good companies, or he was making really good money, but essentially he wasn't happy, and it just came down to his happiness. And when he started content creating, you know what I'm saying, it wasn't even paying a lot of money at first, but he just kept with it because it was like, this is what makes him happy. And now where he living the life that he living, he's saying essentially, it's just all about following what makes you happy. You know what I'm saying? And he also talked about like ensuring, like another one of the principles was, make sure you stay in touch with your family, love your family. They're important, your real friends, people who really love you. So it's a good book, man. Y'all definitely need to check it out. You know what I'm saying? I definitely think it's a good book, and I think it's good for people who kind of in that space where it's like, man, I don't really like what I'm doing right now, and what's my next step. It'll definitely be one of those motivational books that help you realize, man, that a lot of people say life is too short, but you got to look at it like this, man. If you taking care of yourself, you live to be 80 or 90, or people, it be happening. Science and medicine is ever expanding. So people are maximizing on their timeline. So essentially you feel like it's short, but it's really long. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what are you gonna do with all this time that God bless you with? What are you gonna do with that time? You gonna just settle for what, for the societal norm, get a 9-to-5 that you really don't love and have a retirement account and retire at 65? Or are you gonna live an epic life and chase your dreams? What's really on your heart? What God really wants you to do? So that's up to you. But y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments, man. It's the guy Husby in there. Big favor, big abundance. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. It's the guy Husby in there. Big favor, big abundance. I'm gone.